All right, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
I'm going to begin this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rafak Kudash. Yeah, the ancient Hebrew tongue, those would be the correct names of the Heavenly Father, His only begotten Son, and the Holy Spirit. Also, I'd like to give double honors to our teachers, the head apostles, and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the fellow laborers out there. And as always, you believers, the Akim as well as the Aqua, which will consist of you brothers as well as you sisters that subscribe to this truth as well. So yeah, we back once again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah, and with the brother Barak, and as well as the beloved brother Nabat, right, the head of the GMS church in Memphis, Tennessee. You know, the spirit allowed the brother to come through and to fellowship, break bread, you know, pretty much assist in, you know, the building up of the temple and the gathering of the Lord's elect, which is the main objective. And as we often say in the spirit, you know, the faces and the places might change, but the message remains the same. And overall, the message is that America is going to be destroyed, which that idea is out there, especially to you mere mortals in your measly little lives, right? Your universe revolves around this system. You're coming and going. You see nothing past America. This is your be-all, end-all. So when we present this far-out idea that this place is temporal, we receive a lot of resistance. You reject that. But what you're going to find out is that this is what the Bible promotes, beginning at the prophets, all the way even into the time when Yahweh physically walked the planet Earth. And that's a mystery, even among certain Israelite camps, that Yahweh promoted the destruction of America. You know how we know that? When you read the book of Mark, the 11th chapter, when Yahweh made the statement, say unto this mountain, be ye removed and cast into the sea. That mountain represents really this system, this domain of the so-called white man. And the summit of that mountain, if you will, being America, the throne of the so-called white man. Right. So when Yahweh said be moved into the sea, that sea is a dark sand or a metaphor for the destruction. That's the lake of fire. See that? So this is what's being promoted. And despite the unwillingness to believe or receive that report, guess what? It's going to come to pass. And eventually you people are going to respect the prophecies. Right. Matter of fact, you know what? Real quick, let's begin in the book of Job, the 11th chapter. Matter of fact, let me make sure. Is it the 14th? Oh, you got something? Hey, you got it, bro. Yeah. Hey, you got it. Yep.
Make sure that's that. Oh yeah. This is Job 5.
Which, by the way, Job, in that book, that's a heavy book. It's a prophetic book. Job was a prophet. That's why when you read the book of Job, is that Job 19, where he speaks concerning the latter end, where in his flesh he shall see his Savior. Why did he make that statement? Because he was in the spirit of prophecy. He was in the spirit of peering out into the future and forecasting. Yep, that's cool.
Huh? This is Job 5, and I started 10. Who give rain upon the earth and send the waters upon the fields, to set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn
can I
might
say
be exalted.
that rain? Read that again from the top. Beautiful. That's powerful. Read that again.
It's in Job 5, I'm started 10. It said, who give it rain upon the earth and sending waters upon the field.
Yeah, what's that speaking about? The rain and the water that's sent from the Heavenly Father himself. You witnessing it. The doctrine.
That's right.
The ministry. That's the rain.
It's because it's the waters.
That's the waters.
Yeah.
Which brings life.
Yeah, which is like I said, the living waters.
The living waters.
Yeah. What they say, you should never thirst.
Right.
You drink of this water.
Right, beautiful.
You know.
It will bubble, it was what it say, it was springing up into everlasting life.
That's it.
Well, when you consider even the science behind rain and water, it brings life.
Yeah.
Once it rains, you have a heavy rain, and what happens? You see plants begin to spring forth.
That's it.
Versus a drought. A drought represents death.
Yeah.
So as long as this word wasn't acceptable, there was no hope.
Yeah.
Scripture says, well, there's no vision.
The
people perish.
Yeah.
So you see how edification, Yahweh Shema said, everything he does, his works, is an effort to edify. Or what's that? Wisdom of Solomon, the 12th chapter. Thine incorruptible spirit is in all things.
That's it.
You see that? So even the science behind a drought, it gives you clarity. You consider it, you say, oh, in a drought. And that's why if you was to type up drought, right? And you go to images, you'll see like a fish bone, right, in the desert. Yeah, right? You see a damn cattle head.
Flies all over it.
You see that?
It's dry.
It's dry. That's the value of the dry bones.
That's it.
So when there's a drought, meaning when the word is not on display, then death is assured. That's why this was the ultimate act of mercy. Yep, you got that.
Now that's a beautiful analogy there. You know, as in Revelation, you know, the spirit of life should enter into him after 3 days and a half.
Yeah, beautiful.
You know, but that's us receiving the spirit.
Right.
You know, and you're speaking on the dry bones. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the living water. Well,
right.
Real quick, just to add to that point, I think there's an Isaiah, the 43rd chapter, the Lord said he would send forth water, rivers in the desert, in dry places. That's why you have live streams. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, it says, stop at 10, Job 5:10, it says, who giveth rain upon the earth and sendeth waters upon the fields to set up on high those that be low.
Right, and that's concerning this transition of power that's taking place. Where the poor and lowly will be raised up to occupy the seat of power. That's what the Bible promotes. And that in itself is a far out. You can't break that down to Boosie. Right?
Yeah, simple minded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why the spirit been coming out of late to not even cast your pearls to swine. Right, that's the spirit. The hell with you people out here. Man, when I'm out amongst these people, the last thing I'm thinking about is trying to put you on to the kingdom of heaven. With John the Baptist. Who warns you niggas to flee? Even when you see a nigga walking by the camp and he starts slowing up, you like, fuck, man.
They don't even want to deal with him.
Fuck, man. All right, come on.
And it says that those which mourn may be exalted to safety.
Whoa, can I say, I know you got a point. I just want to say something. Spirit heavy right now.
Yeah.
Mourn. That's dealing with the prophets first and foremost. That's the governing body. Those are the ones that's going to be delivered initially, and that's going to pretty much set off that sequence of events that will lead to Israel as a whole experiencing peace, right? And the pleasures of a more. But it began with those who mourn. And this is an example of their mourning.
Yeah, that's it.
Right?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
this to cry out.
Yeah, the cry. This is the house of mourning.
Yeah.
We have mourned unto you. We have lamented unto you.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
When we say America's gonna be destroyed, that's mourning. We telling you your children gonna die. This is a funeral.
Yeah.
So, come on.
All right, and it says, he disappointed the devices of the crafty, so their hands cannot perform the enterprise. And like I say, this prophecy, as the Lord has spoken You go to Job the 20th chapter when he about to fulfill his belly, some sort of what destruction will come upon him. You know, because you go to Psalms 2 and 8. You go grab there. Psalms 2. Because like it just said, it said he disappointed his devices, and one of the devices going to the main prophecy.
Right.
We're dealing with the Quran.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And niggas tired of us talking about that.
Right. They get tired, but that's one of the main prophecies.
Right. Yeah, that's spirit side heavy. Niggas getting antsy every time that subject come up.
Yeah. So, but that's what Esau planned to rule with. So
right.
He got a godlike complex.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, cause with the Quran, he able to control and manipulate the people. Yeah. If you don't want to serve him, he can cut you off. Right. You know, but who had the true power doing that? The Heavenly Father. Right. But here it is, he want to be just like
that. Hey, that's heavy. Isaiah the 47th chapter. Right? That proves that dynamic betwixt these entities, good and evil. You have these devils trying to jockey for position as touching being the highest powers conceivable. Trying to challenge the Most High. Nigga want to be able to shut you down in the form of that thing.
Yeah, the Quran.
Yeah, go to sleep at a certain time, wake up.
Yeah, artificial, like I say, artificial intelligence.
Right.
You know, as people get old, they get to just, instead of having family members coming over talking together, man, you can talk to a computer. Right. You know, have a real loud conversation, you know. Yeah. See how Esau trying to train the people's mind? No, we're supposed to be living, man. Right. You know, but we'll get there, like I say, in the kingdom. Yeah. You know, but this have to happen because that's one of his devices. Yeah. But that's prophecy because, or for that to happen, what? The kingdom of heaven gonna come. So this gotta happen. You know, Jacob trouble gotta happen. Right. You know.
And that device gonna be captured in the form of that Quran.
The Quran. That's it.
Yeah, that's the devices. Yeah. It starts with that. That's Esau. Esau putting all his chips in the center of the table right now. Yeah. The spirit of desperation is heavy on this man. And that pursuit to immortality. And that's why I'm gonna throw it out there like a disclaimer. This is not for the faint-hearted, man. Because the average person, ear hustlers, they can say them guys crazy. You talk about technology and taking over the world. Right. Well, guess who understand that concept? Esau, the so-called white man. This man is literally trying to pursue immortality. That's why you see this nigga with his space suits, which is a replica of the new bodies. You have a desire to go out into the heavens. Hold up, that sounds like the promises, man. That's going to be given to the elect, to the nation of Israel, beginning with the elect. You got something up?
Real quick, just going back to the devices. Psalms 140 and verse 8, he says, "Grant not, O Lord, the desires of the wicked, further not his wicked device, lest they exalt themselves a lot."
Okay.
So just going back to the devices, which it can mean a plan or a plot, but in these modern times, that device, that plot is going to actually lead to an actual device, man, which is that seed here. And that's why I says, lest they exalt themselves, because this is what this man and his warped thinking think that he would keep his head above water, keep him exalted, and have him as the God on the planet Earth by him implementing this thing. But the scripture said the Lord is not going to grant him that desire, you know, to be like the Most High, because this is already in his mind. As mentioned Isaiah 47, niggas say, "I am." You know, well, the Lord's going to set that down real quick when the destruction takes place.
And can I add too, that your desires take place in your mind. It's driven by your reasoning, your aspirations, right? It's all captured by a thought. Well, how does that apply to the so-called white man in his present life? Well, these secret meetings, you had a Bilderberg meeting, you had the meeting out in Brussels, the secret councils of the wicked, where these devils physically descend upon one another, and these think tanks, that they literally call it think tanks, right? That's the desires of the wicked that take place in these think tanks, where these devils is formatting, right, laying out, concocting, strategizing plans to fulfill that desire. And it all again revolves around the Quran. Look, if you follow these, look, man, all of you jakes out there that's committed to these groups or like Adam added, right? Don't come to us. Because you're gonna have a lot of jakes that think they can finesse the Most High, straddle the fence, and they think they got a plan B. But the spirit gonna be on us. We're gonna be able to sniff you out. Nah, you follow Adam Abbott. Come on out.
Kind of was it on that.
Yeah, the scripture's clearly. Matter of fact, oh man, you ain't got it set up. I wanted to look up that word device.
Send me that back.
Yeah, you want to go ahead and do this. And afterwards, you can probably. Right. Yeah, again, you're going to acknowledge the word of the Most High, the prophecies. You're going to have to eventually concede to what's being spoken. Again, I mentioned that in Mark, the 11th chapter. Say unto this mountain, be ye removed. The key word there is say. Meaning Yahweh Shema Shai will eventually declare the downfall of the so-called white man. It will be spoken into existence. Oh, you can read about that. That's in the book of, what's that, Proverbs? Is that Proverbs? No, Ecclesiastes, the 8th chapter. Where the word of a king is, there is power. And who may say unto him, what doest thou? That proves that there's going to be a resistance. Once this word goes forth, you're going to have those to resist it because it's going to be far out there. It's going to be far beyond their reasoning and comprehension. Yep. All right, come on. So we got this word device. Matter of fact, let's read the precept again.
The book of Psalms, chapter 140, verse 8. Grant not, O Lord, the desires of the wicked. Further not his wicked device.
Yep. Further not his wicked device.
Lest they exalt themselves, Salah.
See, and what's the exalting process? Being in power. Yeah. That proves that everything revolves around dominion.
Yeah, that's it.
Christianity tricked you niggas, has you thinking that you get into the Bible just to live peaceably with your next door, the nigga in your apartment complex. Meanwhile, Esau is seizing control of the resources of the planet Earth and strategically putting the pieces together to occupy the power seat. Right. Now, what Yahweh said in Matthew the 10th chapter, to go out and preach that a kingdom was at hand. When you go into the word kingdom, it literally translates to dominion, man. All right, so come on. Now we got this word device.
The word device, Strong's H2162. And it reads, wicked device, evil plan. Mm-hmm. It says, a plot.
Evil plan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is an evil plan.
Yeah.
You know, especially the Quran.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He said he tried to conquer the whole earth as he was to fill his belly. But like say his latter end, when you go into the Isaiah 47 and 6, you know, he didn't think about his latter end.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? His latter end is what? That this bitch gonna burn. You know? You gotta know that.
Had a root to it, and it says the root word is just to have a thought, devise, plan, purpose. It says to plot of evil intent.
All right, look at it. Now think about how he gonna crash the society to get the people to, you know what I'm saying, to believe in him. Right. That's a wicked plan, man. Yeah. You know, he gonna starve people out. People gonna, you know, only a wicked man would do that. Only an evil man would do that. And Esau is set up in that power seat. You know what I'm saying? Because this is known as the great and dreadful day of Yahweh Shema Shai, as Revelation 12:12 say that he gonna come down, having great wrath. You know, but guess what? He not gonna destroy the elect. You know, he's gonna destroy those that was written to be destroyed, as 2/3 of our people shall be cut off. You know, but that's why our faith kick in as we doing what's pleased the Lord. You know, to receive salvation, understanding that the so-called white man, he gonna use his wicked devices. You know, you gotta do it.
Strong's, it says to plan, usually in a bad sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the very dynamic of a trap.
Mm-hmm.
it's like playing is a certain wisdom that comes with it. You set it up in such a way,
strategic.
yeah, strategic, right? You create scenarios. Like you have like a food, bait, and that's how the Quran is going to be presented.
It's gonna be talking about, man.
Yeah, it's going to lure you in. You're going to be driven to it. It's going to be like that stall we was going into. When you consider a stall, the stall is designed to lead you to a certain destination due to circumstances. You turn this way and you can go no more. Right? Yeah. It's like a maze. You turn this way, then the wall shuts you off. You gotta go this way. You gotta turn. That's the idea of a stall.
Yeah. You're gonna set it up as you know the family.
Right.
You know, the true family is the family of what? The hearing the word, but you're gonna actually have family.
Right.
You know, cannibalism coming back and say, pearly time shall come.
Right.
You go to where pearly is going to danger. You know, the time is coming. You know what I'm saying? But it's all prophecy, man. As this is gonna be the device of the so-called white man, man. You know, you got it though.
It says, imagine, think evil.
Let's go to Psalm, the second chapter. I'll tell you where Psalm 2 and 8. You know what I'm saying? How do you imagine a vain thing?
What kind?
You know.
Oh yeah, kind. Oh, that's right. The book of Psalms 2. You said imagine a vain.
Yeah.
Kind. Verse 1. It says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?
You see that imagine a vain thing was him to rule forever. You know what I'm talking about? Artificial kingdom. That's what he's trying to reach for. But remember, Job 14:5 said what? He have appointed his bound that he cannot pass.
Right.
You know, his days and his numbers are with the Lord. What the Lord, what that is, Romans 11, when he say, the same purpose how I raised thee up.
Right.
As he was speaking on how he rose Pharaoh up to be that great king just to show his power. And where we at now? We in what? Egypt all over again. And, you know, the so-called white man, the bank, the leak, they the modern day Pharaoh. You know, and guess what? The Lord gonna show his power again, man. You see? And he's gonna destroy it. Right. Remember what it's saying that's I think that's 2nd Ezra 15 too. He gonna smite Egypt with plagues as before. When he's speaking of this Egypt, he said as before, because he showed his power in ancient Egypt, and the time he led us free, you know what I'm saying, out of captivity. But guess what? This is the Egypt that he was speaking on, as he gonna smite it before. Okay, so again, he's gonna show his power, you know, and he's gonna bring, you know what I'm saying, death, and that's why it's known as the great and dreadful day. Right. You know, which is what fashion approaching, you know. But like I say, the Lord gonna stop the so-called white man, all right, from hindering the elect, though that was written, you know what I'm saying, to be delivered. You know, but go ahead though with that.
Psalms 2 and 1 again, it says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?
The Quran.
Right.
You know, that's a vain thing. It's gonna come to naught. You know? Go ahead.
The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord.
That's them think tanks. Summit meetings, and they go back to the mountain. The same mountain Ezekiel prophesied against, Yahweh spoke against.
That's right.
And it's heavy, man. It's words that should jump out, that should pique your interest. Vain, right? That's in contrast to Isaiah 55, as touching the word of the Lord. The rain that comes from above, it said that it would not be void. Which that void and vain pretty much is entertainment.
That's right. Beautiful.
Yeah, so this is like tingling, you know, like you have an empty cart and make noise, but there's nothing there.
That's beautiful.
Right, because in no wise will you override what's written in the scriptures.
No way.
Yeah.
You know, he says words are faithful and what? And true.
You
know? That's right.
And they out there. Again, that's why you have a lot of resistance. You have an average spectator who will say, no, that doesn't convince me that this system that I have grown accustomed to, my universe revolves around getting up, going to Starbucks. This is the reality that I can see. And you telling me that according to that book, this is going to change. See, but it is. And that's why faith is required to even entertain this form of teaching. Because again, it's way out there. You have to be in the spirit. We were speaking about that last night. Being able to hold fast to the spirit.
That's it.
Right?
That's it.
And stand in the mindset of the spirit, which is a realm.
In itself.
Yeah, in itself.
Yeah.
That's
something for you.
Mm-hmm.
God, this is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 18. What we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen.
Hey, but that's one of the vices of Esau too. When you go into westernization, we went through that word, and it's a form of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because our people are accustomed to what they see on TV.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what our people base their life upon. How they dress, how they act, how they want people to view them. That's a deception.
Westernized.
You westernized. You over here. You know what I'm saying? That's why Micah 2:10 said, "Arise and depart." So he had to come out of that mindset. Right. Because we've been engulfed in deceit. Right. I remember Jeremiah 9:6, thy habitation is in the midst of the sea. And that's one of his devices. How he control the people's mind. By way of what? TV.
Right. Oh, it tells you that 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter. The God of this world has blinded the mind. Hey, because you can mishandle the scriptures and be snared. You have a guy to read, arise ye and depart. Then he'll start making arrangements. He'll get a passport and he'll physically arise and depart. But no, the arising as well as the departing maturation is right here. It's right here. That's why the scripture speaks about the upright in the heart.
That's right.
That's the temple being erected right here. If your reasoning revolves around the testimony of Yahweh, you just elevated, right? You set in heavenly places, just elevated your reasoning. Versus those who don't subscribe to this form of teaching, they digress. What's that? Proverbs the 7th chapter. Yep. Those who go down into her.
Yep. If I may, and that's part of the serpent's doctrine that the brother mentioned, how everything is based on what you see, and that's how he pitched it to Eve. Yeah. That's why I said it was pleasing unto the eyes. You know,
so like Eve, like a representation of Israel.
Exactly.
Going back to that woman.
Right. That coming,
turning a delicate woman.
Which a woman is impressionable.
Yeah.
And it's due to the power of a man. Like that's why you have like Esau. He's in the role of Baal, right? Pretty much, which is like a masculine type of. And what I mean by masculine, not saying Esau is masculine. I'm saying there's that dominion over a woman.
Right.
Right.
You got it out.
Kind. It's this 1 Corinthians 4:18. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal.
Right. It's temporary. If you understand prophecy, it's temporary. Why? Because this place is gonna be destroyed. You know what I'm saying? So that's one way to look at it is, this whole weight. But you like say, what if someone don't believe? Do they make the faith of the Most High without faith? Because one thing about it, it's impossible. Impossible. You know what I'm saying? Not possible, it's impossible to please the Lord without faith. You got to have faith, you have to believe. You know what I'm saying? There's no other way you can please the Lord. Right. Because you must believe that He is. Yeah. And that was His name, Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? He is, He to be. Go ahead with that.
It says, for the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal.
And that's the kingdom of heaven. As it comes, like the elder saying, he elevated our minds. So we pondering on spiritual things, talking about really life. Yeah. But we have to suffer in the flesh, you know what I'm saying? And we think about Babylon, and it's like, it's a tussle. Because we can imagine how the kingdom is going to be as we dig more into the scriptures, man, to understand the power that He's going to give us. Right. The power that we're going to receive as we join earth with Yahweh Shai. You know what I'm saying? Gonna be a better life. What do you say? This Revelation 21:4.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He gonna wipe away our
Who
tears.
they're talking about? Yeah, you have to be able to extrapolate at that point. Who is that talking about? And to add to the point, beautiful point, to overcome the flesh. We understand that dynamic now. This place accommodates the flesh. It was set up to please. It was geared to keep you at rest. That's why even Yahushua said the flesh is weak, but the spirit is with it. Now there's a saying, I want to throw this out there, and it got a spiritual overtone to it. That you can lock my body, but not my mind. You can lock my body, yeah. That's the dynamic of being in this situation. Because once the body is constrained, you can't do the things to please the Lord in the flesh here. Because you are restrained by Esau. You can't keep the law, right?
Okay.
So it's just like being in jail. At that point, your mind wanders. Like, only thing you really got is your thoughts.
The chain of darkness.
Yeah, that's it. The chain of darkness. Oh, well, even John the Baptist. Remember when John the Baptist was in prison by Herod the Tetrarch, he was the sub-king of Jerusalem, Judea. He stretched forth his hand towards John and cast him into prison. And in that low state, John needed comfort. Remember, he sent forth to Yahushua from the prison. He didn't send forth to nobody else. He sent to ask, was Yahushua the guy? In which Yahushua didn't leave him comfortless. He sent them words of comfort, saying, you see the miracles?
Yeah.
It's me. And that's us right now. We in that prison. And we have been given words of comfort, which are the prophecies, which are to be respected.
Yeah, big brother so cold because he put us on game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He put us on game.
Is it?
You know, as us being prudent, because here it is, he gave us the secrets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He gave us the secrets. So when somebody let you know something nobody else knows, you prepare yourself, you're able to withstand what's coming. Right. He gave you the tools to use to be on time. You know what I'm saying? Have everything in order and have your house in order.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the Lord has put us on game to do that, man, by giving us the secret, which is the prophecy.
Yeah.
You know, prove the man perceive to even hiding himself. Because we understand the danger.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The danger is coming. You know, so woe to me if I don't preach the gospel.
Right.
You know, so you know what the end of that is. So, Lord called, man.
Yeah, that's warning.
Yeah.
A Christian to take that, you know what I mean?
Right.
But woe to me if I not preach the gospel. That saying right there is cold in itself. Right? He's saying, look, I'll be destroyed if I don't warn you. Because you know, to prove that, the Apostle Paul made a statement, my hand is now free from the blood of all men. Why would he say that? Because he thoroughly preached and warned the people.
That's right.
Now, you might say, well, you read the actual writings and you see that his office was geared towards bringing in the Gentiles. That's what you're going to really get out of the recordings. Right. But one of the secrets is reincarnation. That means Paul would actually come back. The scriptures say that he saw that crown set before him, was that First Timothy, the 4th chapter. So he would come back and fulfill his course. So really his preaching entailed a warning of people as well.
That's right. So
now with that said, and it's only for the serious minded, with that mindset, that means Paul would have to come back to fulfill his course here in this lifetime.
Yeah, standing a lot.
Yeah, for him to even make the statement, my hand is free from the blood of all men. Because the perfection of that is to warn you really of the devices of Esau in the wrath of Yahushua, which that's nothing more than the Lord executing that judgment through his left hand. But the so-called white man is at the forefront pretty much of who we are condemning, who we are warning you from.
That's Isaiah 32. I mean, Isaiah 32, we say, 35, set thy face against my sin. Prophesy against it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we on a spiritual stand. Because we got a testimony, go back to what to testify. So that's what we're doing. We testifying against the wickedness
That's right.
of E. You know, he understands. Because he's gonna get the judgment.
Right.
You know, so the Lord is finna bring the hammer down on him, sentence him. You know, now he sentenced to 1,000 years. Then after that, what? You're gonna be destroyed.
Right.
This is sentences. You know, what you guys know.
You
I
got
got
something?
just real quick. I know he's still on there.
Oh, you still on there? Okay.
It's going to the same thing.
Okay.
This is Romans 8:8. It says, so then they that in the flesh cannot please God, which can't please the Most High. You can't please the Heavenly Father dealing in the flesh.
Right.
You know? What you gotta do, right?
Yeah. Oh, was it the
That
song?
was it on that?
That was it on that song?
Yeah, that was it on that.
Well, let's go to real quick. You got anything? Your brother's got anything?
You got it.
Let's go to Job, the 11th chapter, and beginning at the 4th verse. Because again, your unbelief, and I believe you quoted that earlier, will in no wise somehow hinder this process. What's that scripture? You mentioned Romans 3:3,
I did kind of.
but also is that second Ezra 15, right? As touching the incredulity of the people.
That's right.
So that's not going to stop the prophecies from unfolding in their perfection. And this is the time and season where the prophecies will manifest themselves like in its perfection, saying that this is the end. Right, so come on.
Khan, this is the book of Job 11:4. For thou hast said, my doctrine is pure, and I am clean in thine eyes. But oh, that the Most High would speak and open his lips against thee.
See, read that again.
But oh, that the Most High would speak and open his lips against
That's our
thee.
desire, that the Most High will bring forth this truth, because that's going to trump Esau's legislation.
That's it.
Whatever laws he set up as a hedge to shield or guard or justify himself. Remember when you read Wisdom of Solomon, right? Is that Wisdom of Solomon the second chapter? Let our strength be the law of justice. Meaning this man trusts in his own wickedness, his own wisdom, which is played out in the form of his legislations and laws. And that proves that that's the same old devil, that old serpent, whose rust is not all the way white. See that? Why did he pretty much conquer outside of the will of the Alabama outside, of course? But when he descended upon the natives, for an example, he forged conquering them through what? Treaties. So he trusts. He was like, this law, fucking devil, man.
They say the word is smooth and butter.
Yeah, word is smooth and butter.
The war's in his heart.
The war's in his heart.
That's the tactic. That's one of the tactics.
Right.
Deception.
Motherfucker kick in your door. You're in violation of Article Section B. According to who, man?
Right.
There was a lot of cases where he would get the advantage over the natives with those legislations, and they didn't even understand the fucking language he was speaking, man. He just pop up and say some shit. He got to that point, and then all of a sudden, the damn soldiers, the natives don't know what's going on. Just read some shit, and that gave him the green light, that justified him. So that's why the scriptures that we read are pretty much decrees that trumps the jurisdiction of Esau.
Yeah, going to that false accusation.
Yep.
That's a false accusation right there. You plant someone on someone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what Esau known as.
Yeah.
You're going to the word devil, deceiver, false accuser.
False accuser. Put the bottle to your mouth.
Right. And now you're accused of it.
Now you're accused of it.
Which he planted it. When you look at the ghettos, you know, all that was like it's systematic design.
Right.
But he still like where he point the finger. Right. As it's like, you know, you the root problem.
Yeah.
You know, you control, and it's not a coincidence. It's the same shit everywhere.
Right.
You know, in the state or city you go to, it's the same thing. You got the good over here, you got the bad over here. You know, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Our systematic design to keep Jacob what? In a hole in the vine, which is what keep them blind.
Fagos.
You know what I'm saying?
Certain
Then he give you the like know where you're wrong because you got the opium or you got the gym going to the arenas.
yeah,
Like wrong. He give you the entertainment instead of you being entertained in the spirit. You know that you being entertained in the flesh.
Right. And again, it's all sort of an effort to keep you restricted.
That's it.
You have limitations now, and this is why our people don't want to entertain this idea of thinking outside
the box.
of
the
the casket.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, it's literal, right? You motherfucker in the box, he in the congregation of the dead.
That's it.
Yeah, his limitations, he can't move, he restrained, man. Versus that life, right? Which is developed through the doctrine.
Let go to more thoughts.
Yeah.
Because with this wisdom and knowledge and understanding it, we gain the immortality.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You got
Con, this is Job 11 and verse 5. It says, "But oh, that the Most High will speak and open His lips against thee."
Right, and this is played out in the form of the prophets, man. This is what has assured the fall of Esau. I don't give a damn if you believe it or not. Once the floodgates opened, once the Lord raised up and sent forth the prophets, this marked the start of his ending. The clock started ticking on Esau. That's why you see the desire right here is for the Lord to open his lips. All it takes is for one word, the Lord to say, time up. You out of here. And that was performed through the prophets and the ministry that's before you. Read that one more time, man.
But oh, that the Most High will speak and open His lips against thee.
See, against thee. Ezekiel the 35th chapter. Said thy face against Mount Seir.
Yeah, bro. I got one.
Oh yeah, come on. Yeah.
All right, this is Isaiah 53.
Oh, it didn't say against. Oh, that the Lord would open his mouth and speak against my ex camp. Right? You see some guys driven by what the scriptures say, envy and strife.
Yeah.
No, the Lord didn't command you to go out and exhaust all of your energy into
one camp.
Right. One camp. And you start changing the titles, but it still go back to getting on us. No, the scripture said, "Oh, that thou open thy mouth against Esau." Now, yeah, it's going to be rebuke, reproof, corrections, exhortations, admonishments throughout that process. But the main objective is to cry out against the so-called white man. That's Luke 18.
It's prophecy.
It's prophecy, man.
Well, that's Revelation 19:10. It said the spirit of prophecy is Yahushua.
Right.
And we understand through prophecy, Yahushua is coming to take down those that rule. You know? So here it is. What are you doing? So that means you're not obtaining the understanding of prophecy, because you don't have it. You're not speaking against Eve, you know, because he the one in power. You know, hate the evil, love the good, man. You know, we understand the wicked is ruling, and we have to prophesy against it, because this is the downfall. But Jacob is the beginning that follow it. Two kings can't sit on the same throne.
Right.
You know, he's gonna be taken out of power. That's why I say, come sit in the dust, old Georgia Virgin of Babylon.
Right.
You know, sit on the ground, there's no throne for you. Meaning what? There's no more dominion after the Lord send our big brother Yahushua come back, man. All right? He will destroy this place, man. As is known as he gonna be the kings of kings, you know, the Lord of lords, man. Yeah. But you know, read what I got, we're gonna keep going.
Oh no, yeah, you gotta pick up your question.
Okay, this is Isaiah 53 and 1. I know you have spoken to this too. It said, "Who have believed our report, and to whom is the arms of the Lord Yahweh revealed?" You know, you got
it. Hey, yeah, the report. This is the report. Now the scripture saying, and to whom have the arm of the Lord been revealed? The arm begins with Yahushua, man. Which again, you mentioned his testimony being the spirit of prophet. So an arm represents an extension of you. Now, their arm is on display in the form of the prophets. We continue in their stead. We resume the role of prophesying or chanting down Babylon. So you got to believe that. And it's heavy. This is really a call to believe the unbelievable. Because again, as far as you can think back, the Lord really cut off all of your any inkling of Israel knowing the customs of their forefathers. They can only think back to their great granddad, if that. That's pat on the back, man. And with him comes with Babylon. Your universe revolved around this: working, going to work, being fired, marrying, having a sports team, my favorite team. You can't see past this. That's why this far right, if you will, doctrinal idea, you know how they say come from left field, this coming from right field.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the extreme right, and it's far beyond your reasoning and comprehension.
I got another one too. Going to the report.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, how the Lord reveals his secrets unto his servant the prophet.
Right.
We go to Amos. Because this is John 15 and 14. It says, "You are my friends, if you do whatsoever I command you." You know, this is Yahweh Shah speaking.
Right.
You know, it says, "Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you."
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, you know, Yahweh sent Yahweh Shah to do the will. That's why he said, "I have done the will of my Father." Now Yahweh Shah has sent us forth.
Right.
So we have to do the will of Yahweh Shah. That's why he said, "I will give you pastors according to my heart."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to, according to who? Yahweh. You know, going back to this testimony. You know, this is according to the Lord's will, as we will not be confounded if we stick to the doctrine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I say, but like you just said, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. So that's going to what the secrets.
Yeah.
It's been made known unto us. As he said, "What my sheep shall hear my voice." You know?
And that's heavy. That's like a two-way street. The Lord making it known. I mean, he designed you in such a way where you can get it.
Yeah.
Like just the brother, his comment, BM, I believe the report, but honestly, how can you not? It's not like the Lord is hiding, right?
Right.
Or making it so complicated. But in reality, he is. The Lord is hiding. What's that?
Method.
I don't know. I believe it's Isaiah. Is that Isaiah? Is it the 8th chapter where hiding his face?
Yeah. From the house of Jacob.
Yeah, he's hiding his face from the house of Jacob. And then also the scriptures say this is plain to the holy. See, it's plain to us, but what makes this a powerful work is because the Lord actually complicated their eyes. That's why when you first come into the truth, you feel compelled to convince your people. You try to convince them. You just know they're going to see it because you see it. But one of the works of the Lord, this is a miracle in itself. The fact that something can be so plain, but yet so complicated.
That's it.
That goes into the balance of Yahweh Shema.
That's it.
We see it clearly, and that's why the Lord made the statement in Matthew the 13th chapter. Blessed are your eyes.
That's right. That's it.
So it's plain, but honestly, it's complicated to the world. Why? Because the Lord put that veil, right? Yep, like the brother said, it truly is a perfect balance. The Lord put that veil over their eyes.
He stopped at the earth.
Yep.
They gave him judgment on the earth. They can't hear, eyes they can't see.
See?
That's it.
And it even goes into the time where the Lord will lift the veil, and that will be when the destruction comes.
Oh,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, now I get it.
Right.
To the seas be with
Yeah,
you.
that's a cold statement because the Lord gave you the pretty much the timetable. They'll be blinded, but until when? Until the cities be wasted. And that's where they're going to know, oh, as it is written. Then they shall know.
Like a switch.
Yeah,
They're going to switch.
And the reality is going to be due to the undeniable evidence at this point. I've been telling you a killer coming, right?
Right.
Beware, it's somebody on the loose.
Right.
And you don't believe it till you see him. Now you get it. Then shall they know that I am the Lord.
That's right.
Yeah, so wisdom is going to always have its place. The song is going to be too late. All right, so come on. Come on, let's get what you got. Yeah, we be ready to start winding down. Come on.
Like I said, just going back to being made to understand, this is the book of Psalm 51:8. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. So that's the mercy of Yahweh Shem outside. And I show you this is a future prophecy going into those bones that was broken.
Right.
You know, now this is the restoring, and it's being made by us hearing and holding fast to this word, man. But it says, make me to hear. So it's Yahweh Shem outside that have fashioned us in such a way for us to grasp and take heed unto this, man.
Yeah, you got to be built a certain way to eat your house shot, to eat of this. There's like you see certain animals, you might cringe at what they eat, but their body was designed to eat it. Their belly was designed. You might eat it and you die. All kind of toxins are released, but this certain animal can eat it. See, to digest your house shot, you had to be designed that way. So that's why scriptures say, make me. All right, so come on. Unless you got something, let's go back to Job 11 chapter. That's what we got, right?
Come on. Job 11:5. But oh, that the Most High would speak and open his lips against thee, and that he will show thee the secrets of wisdom.
See, and they will show thee the secrets of wisdom. That's the prophecies. The secrets of wisdom is the prophecies. Go ahead.
That's it.
That they are double to that which is.
Right. Now, even with that, you can't say, well, I'm not concerned with the history. No, you have to understand the history. And that's in the records. That's what Wisdom of Solomon, the 8th chapter, the 8th verse. And this is what makes us that complete package, if you will. That's the prophets coming in the perfection of Yahweh Shem outside. Come on out.
Know therefore that the Most High exacted of thee less than thine iniquity deserve. Canst thou by searching find out the Most High? Canst thou find out the Almighty unto perfection? It is
right, unto perfection, that word perfection. Because scripture speaks about knowing the perfect will of the Lord. You have certain people that know, for an example, the time of Noah. You might ask someone, what was the will of the Lord in the time of Noah? And they can give you the answer. It was to flood the earth. But if we was to ask you, what's the perfect will of the Lord as touching this lifetime? And how many people are going to expound on World War III?
Right.
Or the Israelites being revealed as, so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans. Other various prophecies that contributes to their understanding. Not many. It has only been shown to a few. Go ahead, Al.
It says, it is high as heaven. What canst thou do? Deeper than hell, what canst thou know? The measure thereof is longer than the earth and broader than the sea. If he cut off and shut up or gather together, who can hinder him?
Right, read that again.
If he cut off.
If he cut off. So that proves that the Lord cuts off. The Lord cut us off from our land, our nationality.
We would discontinue from our heritage.
Yeah, we would discontinue from our heritage. He cut us off from him.
Yeah.
Right? Your iniquities have separated you from your power. But the Lord the one who cut off. Not just with us, when you consider Esau, the so-called white man. When Rome fell, that was the Lord cutting them off, man. In this fall, this epic fall of Esau, which is going to cement him in his legacy and infamy as never rising again, it's going to be Yahweh Shem outside is going to cut him off. See? Go ahead.
If he cut off, or if he cut off, or set up, or gather together.
Right, or gather together. Right? So go ahead.
Then who can hinder him?
And who can hinder him? And simultaneously, you see the Lord gathering. This gathering is Yahweh Shem outside. You can't hinder this. Careers couldn't hinder this gathering. brothers desire to be rappers and
Right.
lawyers or actors or whatever. That couldn't hinder the gathering of the Lord. So overall, his word, which is the prophecies, can't be led. It can't be hindered. It can't be resisted. Yeah, you cannot believe, but you can't resist his will. What's that? Romans, who have ever resisted his will?
Not one.
Not one, which translates to the very saying in Hebrews, the 12th chapter, I believe it is, to know his perfect will. So you can't resist the perfect will of Yahweh Shemashah.
Okay. Bang up the Proverbs, like I say, Proverbs 20:24. Man goes of the Lord. You know how then a man can understand his own way. You know?
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
What you say?
Yeah, get a call.
Kyle?
Yeah.
Okay. You can go ahead and
yeah, you can. No, you got it, bro. Yeah, come on.
I got a quick
Yeah,
precept.
yeah, come. Yeah, we ready to end in a minute.
This is the book of Job, chapter 9. I start at verse 4. He is wise in heart and mighty in strength, who have hardened himself against him and have prospered. And concerning the Lord, you know, and these kings on the earth, you know, for example, Pharaoh, and the reaction, Pharaoh hardened himself. That was a reaction from the report Moses and Aaron gave him. You know, and the same thing that's going on today with Esau. You know, this man hardened himself, and why he got these different laws and legislation set up. But the result, they won't prosper, man. That's why verse 5 it says, which removeth the mountains, and they know not, which overturneth them in his anger. So that's the time we in. Where this report that's coming out is an effort for you to be removed, man. You know, so it's Yahweh Shemashah bring forth the decree that is your time is up, man. You know.
Yeah, that's a beautiful point. Yeah, it was forecasted. The prophecies, which entails the future, is what seals his fate. This is how those mountains. Matter of fact, let's end off in that. Second Ezra, the 8th chapter, is it? It's that I believe it's Ecclesiasticus is it? The 8th chapter, the 20th verse.
Oh, you talking about I know you're talking about I think it's
Second Ezra. Right. Let's get that. We'll end up. That's a beautiful point. Pharaoh's reaction was based upon the report. He didn't just harden himself out of thin air. He heard a decree.
That's right.
And it provoked that reaction of saying, oh, and that's what Esau, like Esau. Esau said, who shall bring me down to the ground? Why would he say that? It's based upon our report. We saying he going down.
Yeah.
So in his think tank, he's saying, not going down. Fucking pride, devil, man. Yeah. That's why the scripture say pride go before destruction. All right, come on.
See how he set him up?
Yeah. Yeah. Set him up so that he can break the law. Not a law justify. He got you. You devils try to, right, you devils try to perform that same, right, that's the same approach. You try to bring that formula to the table as well. You're entrapped. That's what you do. You entrap Jake, and then you have the laws to justify you.
You murder the innocent.
Right, you murder the innocent. Well, guess what? The Lord entrapped you. You got that proud spirit. The Lord snared your ass, and now you offended. That's why the scriptures say, the proud will pour out abominations. The abominations is based upon the decrees. So the Lord snared you by your own pride. It caused you to go off. Now you're going to be judged by the very
act. You're going to be condemned by the very act.
Yeah, by your very act, according to the decrees of Yahweh Shemashah. Come on.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 8, start at verse 20. It reads, O Lord, Yahweh Shemashah, thou that dwellest in everlastingness, which beholdest from above things in the heaven and in the air, whose throne is inestimable.
Right, whose throne is inestimable. Now, carnally, you'll read that and say, yep, the throne of the Lord is huge, but that's operating in the flesh. That inestimable represents there's no bounds to the power of the Lord. The throne is your power. That represents your jurisdiction. So his jurisdiction is inestimable. You can't say, well, no, the Lord have no jurisdiction over the sea.
Yeah, there's no boundaries.
There's no boundaries.
Yeah.
So that's what it means when it says whose throne is inestimable. There's no restrictions on the jurisdiction of the Lord. Go ahead.
Whose glory may not be comprehended,
Mm-hmm.
before whom the host of angels stand with trembling.
Yep.
Oh, if I can say this, let's go to, you spoke on Isaiah 55 too. When you say, my thoughts not your
Your
thoughts.
thoughts. Yep. That's it.
Neither my ways your ways. Because as you can see how prophecy unfolding, just thinking about creation in itself. What was all this plan for? This his movement.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He created this. You know,
Yeah.
this for his pleasure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You own the movie set.
Right, you know.
Right.
And he designed all this for his pleasure.
So now you got to act out the role. You own this person's set. You own his time.
That's right. You know, so that's how cold the Lord is, man.
Yep.
You got it.
It says, whose service is conversant in wind and fire,
Mm-hmm.
whose word is true,
See, whose word is true. Go ahead.
and sayings constant,
And saying is constant. That means his word is continual.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
whose commandment is strong, and ordinance fearful,
Mm-hmm.
whose look drive up the depths.
Whose look, right? The look represents what? The prophecies, man. That's the future. That's why Yahweh said, blessed are your eyes for they wet see. The prophets was known as what? Seers.
Yes.
Whose look what?
Drive up the depths.
What's the depth? That's the pit, America.
That's right.
And it's going to be dried up. It's going to be made a desolation based upon the look of the Lord. The prophecy is going forth. Go ahead.
It says, and the nation make of the mountains to melt away,
See?
with the true witnesses.
See, with the truth witness. Who cares if you don't get it? The truth witness that the Lord will actually visit Esau and these mountains will melt away.
That's right.
All right? So, with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Chakadash. Double honors to our teachers, the head apostles, and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the fellow laborers out there. And as always, you believers, to the next time, shalom.
Shalom.
DTA, Abba, Abba.
Soon. Very soon.
Awesome.